Battania is the faction I know better than any other in Bannerlord. Their troops, their strengths, and more importantly, their weaknesses.
NANI?!
So today, I'm going to try and beat Bannerlord using Battania-only. No foreign troops, no mercenary armies, just forest warfare, Fian Champions, and a completely irresponsible amount of smithing abuse. The goal? Either wipe a kingdom off the map, or conquer the entire world. Let's see how far Battania can really go. Meet Calvin of Clan Oakblade. Battanian born and bred, but he has a plan to overthrow Battania itself, and create a kingdom of his own. Let's see how far he actually gets. I started out the usual way, tournaments.
Brother,
Winning some, losing some, but more importantly, building up money and renown. Between tournaments, I was fighting looters, of course, using my shield to soak up the rocks, then picking them apart with my bow. Once I hit 20,000 dinars and clan tier 1, it was time to rescue the family. I quickly hired 20 troops, picked up a random companion,
Hello there.
and went to free them. Of course, I executed Radagos. Now I had my brother fighting by my side. I changed his name to Kyle, Farok's name to Brad, and Athene's name to Abigail. Brad reached age 11 and Abigail reached 16. Next up, smithing. Buying weapons, smelting them down, crafting new weapons and smelting those down too. Eventually we were crafting weapons worth 20,000 dinars each. I sold them across nearby towns and walked away with a cool million. I also crafted weapons for myself, my family and my companions. This is how the map looked at this point. Not much had actually changed yet. The Northern Empire had taken Tayal, the Khuzaits had taken Sirenia. For now, it was mostly castles changing hands. Now it was time for a wife. And let's be honest, for me, Kareen is the only real option. For my brother, any wife with strong steward skills would do just fine. It didn't take long for my brother to get stuck in. With that sorted, it was time to push clan tier 4. To do that, we became mercenaries, fighting for Battania. For now, anyway. I hired a few Battanian companions, Kareen then became pregnant, and then once I had all my companions, I kitted them out with gear. I sent 2 of them off with caravans, and made 2 of them captains in my army. Then I bought some workshops in Battanian lands. To speed things up, I took the trade perk that gives renown for every profitable workshop. On top of that, we climbed to the top of the tournament leaderboard, earning an extra 1 renown per day. But to really farm renown manually, we raided villages. Each raid gave us renown, troop XP, and influence for our mercenary contract. Kept this up until the army was fully upgraded, and my confidence was high enough. That's when I started hunting lords.
why are you running?
Every lord I defeated, I released. No ransom, no prison, just building relationships, hoping they'd join me later. I continued fighting for Battania until something important happened. A rebel town popped up, literally in Battanian lands. That was my cue. I was already clan tier 4, so this was my moment. I left Battania, took the town, and founded my own kingdom. Now I needed influence, a lot of it, so I could pass policies to keep my kingdom stable. I gathered all my companions, filled their parties with troops, and called them into my army. Abigail then came of age. Peace didn't last long. Calradia declared war on us, which was fine for a couple of reasons. Firstly, I was fully prepared with an army of 500 men. Secondly, I needed influence and a couple more fiefs. And lastly, I was under 1 million dinars, so I needed money. So I attacked Carbenseth. But while I was doing that, I spotted an army of 1,000 marching toward Dunglianis. And as I suspected, they started the siege. I had to get this done fast. But unfortunately, Calradia had other plans. He approached me with 600 troops of his own. It was 900 versus my 500. Quick tip for console players here, if you want bigger battles, head into your settings, go to graphics mode and switch it to fidelity. This gives you bigger battles but more lag. Once you load into the battle, switch it back to performance and you'll keep the troop numbers without the lag. I managed to win. Now I head to defend Dunglianis before I fell. To defend, I decided to break in at the expense of a few troops. I managed to win that too. With all these lords now prisoners, I could go on the offensive. A small army of 200 approached. Once they gathered enough support, they attacked. 1,200 versus my 415. Probably not gonna go well. Somehow, I actually pulled it off, and we now owned Carbenseth. Next, we sieged Pencannock. Luckily, we took it just in time. Next on the list was Maranoth. This time they instantly rallied a large force around me. I had to abandon the siege and fight them head on. I beat the first wave, then got attacked again. I won that fight too, but I was too weak to continue sieging. I had to regroup and reform. Whilst I was rebuilding my army, they sent me a peace offer. I accepted. After the war with Battania, this is what the map looked like. Battania had one town and a few castles left. I used this time of peace to fill my garrisons in each town. Then I started passing policies. With Battania on the back foot, I started recruiting their clans. Aradour was my first recruit.
Hello there.
For the cost of absolutely nothing. Melidir was next.
Hello there.
For 19,000, and Prindor followed quickly after.
Hello there.
For a massive 383,000. Aegon was not ready to be persuaded, but I'm sure that will soon change. I now had 3 noble clans in my kingdom, with 16 individual parties. I sent each clan 100 influence. This boosted relations and helped them get off the ground. This is what the strength board was looking like. It was time to go to war with Battania, but as I did, something weird happened. A lot of my nobles were imprisoned. Oops. Straight away, I sieged Aster Castle. Battania immediately offered peace. I declined. I took the castle and gave it to one of my vassals. Then I sieged Lanark Hen Castle and gave that to another vassal. Battania was down to just one fief, Maranoth. With 900 defenders, this was going to be a tough siege. With my 4 trebuchets, I brought down their defences and the walls. Then Ragnvad of Sturgia declared war on us. Okay. But he could wait. The siege was ready, and we headed in. If we won this, Battania would be no more. To start the siege, I organised 2 infantry squares and 2 formations of archers. I sent one of each to every breach in the wall. I let the enemy pour out and get absolutely destroyed by my Fian Champions, whilst my infantry soaked up the damage. Once their numbers were low enough, I sent everyone in to charge. They wiped them out. 800 kills, 41 deaths. The enemy retreated to the keep, but my Fian Champions cleaned up once again. And with that victory, Battania was no more. Calvin had finally taken over as the true leader of the Battanians. So who's next? Sturgia? Vlandia? You'll have to wait for the next episode to find out. If you enjoyed this video, give that like and subscribe button a cheeky tickle, and make sure you leave a comment to let me know whether I should continue this series or not.